Hey everybody, it's Rob from Flailthroughs. This is Gundam Battle Operation 2, and this is a round I got recently in the Gaz-L Grau. I have not used that in forever. It is a heavy attack raid that is basically a lateral move from the standard Gaz-L that has a relatively similar tool set, though it has a couple of shoulder cannons instead of the missile pods that the Grau has. Okay, I'm amazed I didn't get countered, but that Bull G is now also pretty much defenseless. So, but yeah, missile pods aren't bad. You do have to stop to fire both of them, but because of that, they gave it the immobile firing system skill, which I believe I think that's the one that gives you a little bit more attack power when you're standing still. Or maybe it's the one that makes you harder to interrupt. I forget which. But yeah, most of the tweaks, this is the level 1, most of the major tweaks were done to the level 2. But there were some improvements made to this as well. I was so happy that hit. I did not expect it. But yeah, just like being able to launch yourself at an angle like that is fun. Yeah, it's not bad. Like I said, been a while since I used it. This one took me a couple of tries, but this one came out fairly well. And yeah, I'm I'm fairly happy with it. I always like the standard Gaz-L. The Grau is not bad, so let's see. Throw out some missiles. Yeah, I wish I could remember which skill that is for standing still. Like I said, I think it's either extra damage or being harder to interrupt. I think probably harder to interrupt because I'm not seeing an attack buff indicator come up when I'm standing still. So yeah, but, not being harder to interrupt when you are firing off your missiles is not the worst thing. Got the tagged the engage incom with a beam rifle shot, held it still long enough to take it down. And now I'm going to miss entirely because that Mark II just got right out of the way. More missiles. And yeah, the incendiary missiles, I believe the incendiary damage on that was increased. I'm not 100% sure. As always, I'll be reading off the buffs at the end of the round, and there will be a link, as there always is, to the monthly buff page. But yeah, it does 500 a tick, which is definitely one of the higher numbers I've seen on incendiaries. I'm not sure how many ticks you get out of that, but I believe you, with that forget the name of it, prototype irregular DBL that was released sometime recently. Either way, the zero slot part that both reduces your shortened status conditions applied to you and increases the duration of your status conditions applied to others. I'm pretty sure, yeah, I telegraphed that so bad. Pretty sure that will add like 1 extra tick of fire damage. But see, land some stuff here, hopefully. Be honest, because the fire damage is so high, you're actually probably better off just hitting with 1 or 2 of the missiles and then saving the others for another target, but sometimes you just have to do the damage, so that was not what happened in this case. The engage Gundam incom type got me back this time, and let's see. This is an ace match, so 80 more seconds or so. We will find out who the aces are, and each of them will get triple points for any mobile suits they take down and any assists they get, and they will also be worth triple points to eliminate by the enemy team. I was happy that connected. Yeah, just the heavy attack animation for this, because it is just so far-reaching, can do some cute things sometimes. Okay, yeah. Given that I don't think I got stunned until like the melee attack, I think the second melee swing might have been what stunned me. I think that's the flavor of immobile fire it has, the one that makes it harder to stop. Which I'll take that. Yep. Throw some more missiles out. Stunned it again, and the slope saved its life, but it did not stop me with its tackle. And somebody else got the kill. That is fine. Let's see. Yeah. Land those on the Doga and just Yeah, it does. It does relatively okay at range, but and of course, plenty damage close up. I am the ace, so I am just going to go all out on this thing. Pulled back because I saw a. I think that's a fellow. Is that a fellow Grau attacking me? Nope, that is a. What is that? Seems to have. I'm not. Must be. I think it's probably a Hazel variant I don't recognize, but it seems to have shields on each arm, so I'm not sure. Landed that shot though, so that is good. And yeah, I am low on health, so I am trying to hang way, way back. Definitely the time to rely on the missiles and the charging beam rifle, and just kind of, do the rest, do more of my fighting from the next zip code where possible. Or, charge in on the Bull G, which is definitely a choice. I landed it, it's on the ground. I don't think I'm going to be able to get close enough to do anything else. And enemies are spawning in next to me, so yeah, that thing about I'm going to be smart and stay away thing, I apparently, no, I'm not doing that today, because that would make sense. We've still got the lead, but what the hell was I doing? Yeah, I have no idea. But okay, Yagdoga sleeve type is what took me down. In those colors, I tend to mistake it for a Gyaradoga because it has the one Gyaradoga arm, and that shoulder shield I find kind of distinctive. So let's see. Jumping back in. 90 seconds to go. I'd like to take down the enemy ace, but since anybody can get the points for doing that, that is not my priority. My priority is to get points where I can and make sure I don't put myself in too much danger. Yeah, there's a sniper over on the left, I believe, who's also taking shots at me. I'm kind of exposed here. I would have been smart to be underneath this or back towards the base or basically probably anywhere but in the middle of this open platform. But yeah, just like I've said before, sometimes watching these things back and it's, people in the comments have rightly said over the years, why didn't you do X? And it's like, I have no idea. I have no idea why I did not think of that, but I did not think of that. Well, we've got a problem because I'm about to get dropped and the enemy team has the lead. So yeah, this may not be a win for us, which, unfortunate, but could be worse. But yeah, it's kind of surprising to see the number of bad choices I made, though. That is kind of my track record with ace matches. If I do well enough to do the ace frequently the other half of the round, oh, well, somebody got rid of the enemy ace, and we are now back in the lead. I'll take that. Yeah, a lot of times I do well in the first half of the round, and then, when there is a target over my head, so I'm easy to find, it gets harder to follow up on that effectively. But, the Bull G did a good job of timing its iframes because, yeah, just enough time that I was not able to land that last shot. So, but we pulled it off thanks mainly to the rest of the team. But I wound up with 5215 damage, assist of 1815, and, top diversions, which not unusual, and 100,000 damage. So I will take that. That is going to do it for today's Gundam Battle Operation 2. We will be back with more. Till next time, everybody take care and have fun. Later. Okay, so the changes that apply to my the level 1 Grau are fairly fairly minor compared to the level 2. It got 2,000 more hit points, went from 20k to 22. It got the Immobile fire system skill. It got a higher level buffer to each of its shoulders. The left shoulder armor buffer went from level 2 to 3. The right shoulder armor went from level 3 to 4. Starting at level 2, it got 6 more points of ranged power. 2 more close range slots, going from 22 to 24. The range attack boost went from 24 to 30, incidentally. 1 more mid-range slot, going from 15 to 16, and 1 more long-range slot, going from 7 to 8. Maneuver armor went from level 2 to level 3, and forced injector also went from level 2 to level 3. The beam rifle also was only buffed at the second level. It went from 1785 damage to 1850, and the charged shot was also increased in power. The missile tube was at least, the reload time was shortened for both levels, so it only takes 8 seconds instead of 10. but the power of the missiles went from 735 to 800 at level 2. The Beam Lance's downswing got buffed for both levels, and its power went from 2625 to 2750 for the level 2. And lastly, the level 2 incendiary missile pod's power went from 262 to 400. So, yeah. The interesting thing being that apparently doesn't take a lot of difference for them to really make that change or make that big a difference between the two levels. So the raid average at 550 is 49.9% win rate. The Gaz-L Grau had 46.4. So yeah, at a level 2 at 600, the raid type average win rate is a flat 50%, and it was at 45.7. So, it is a broader difference, but it's like maybe a 0.5% larger than the level 1. But yeah, apparently that was enough to justify all of those greater buffs. The reason for that becomes a little bit more apparent as we go down the stats. Rival win rate at 550, average for raids 48.3%, and the Grau was at 45.6. Meanwhile, the average for raids at 600 is 49.1, and the level 2 Gaz-L Grau was at 40% even. Damage drop off is even worse. The average for raids 74,543. Grau was in level 1 was in within 1,000 points of that, 73,834. So, but at 600, the raid type average for damage is 82,416, and the level 2 Gaz-L Grau was only doing 71,000. So yeah, that is a huge difference. The losses at both costs were 3.6 mobile suits on average per round. The average for raids overall is 3.3 at 550 and 3.4 at 600. So yeah, once you get to the damage dealt and the rival wins, you kind of see why the level 2 got so much more TLC. They both needed help, but yeah, the level 2 definitely really did need a lot more.